1 Samuel 9 and 10. We're again introduced to an otherwise unknown family, an average family. He's a man named Kish. He's a Benjaminite, and he gives birth to a son named Saul. What's important to catch is that Benjamin, of course, was a tribe that was almost destroyed several years back in the book of Judges. And they're a very proud tribe. They're not a regal or a royal tribe, again, because Israel was promised that Judah would be the tribe to give them a king. But we are here told about a man named Saul. We're told very early on he's very tall, very handsome, stands out in a crowd, but that's really the end of it. We're not given more than that idea, and that's important to how the story progresses. In fact, such an average man as this, where he's out looking for his father's lost donkeys, he wants to know where these donkeys are. He's heard that there is a seer locally. Now, back in this day, and I'd recommend this is something we use again for the story going forward, when you wanted to know what God said or wanted to inquire of God, prayer in this time period wasn't considered a two-way conversation. Yes, you prayed, you said things to your God, and all nations did this, but if you wanted information back from your God, you went to a prophet or a seer. Well, his name is Samuel. That is the man who we've met before. And as Saul is approaching, because of these lost donkeys, God says to Samuel, "This is the man. The one coming to you is the man I want you to anoint to be the ruler of the people that we have been talking about. The people have wanted a king. So I want you to anoint this person because," and this is important, it's in chapter 9, verse 16, the Philistine threat was very real at this time. So as the story of chapter 9 goes through, Saul is anointed privately by Samuel, but it would be, and as we read chapter 9, it's a replay in many ways of just how it would have sounded back in the days of the judges. There's a local problem, now there's a local solution. So Saul, again, who is an otherwise average guy, he has no royal blood in him, he is told by Samuel that he has been chosen by God to confront the Philistine crisis. Saul is nonplussed by this. He's surprised. He even says, "I'm a Benjaminite," which is his way of saying, "Are you sure you have the right person?" Well, then in chapter 10, we have what's said, and this is important to catch as well for reasons of understanding how different we often think of it. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him. Well, what we mean by that, and it's equivalent to, in this time period, saying the Word of the Lord came upon someone. Don't think of the third person of the Trinity here. Don't think it's only because Saul was a Yahwist. Don't think in terms of Saul's salvation or something like that. Those are very New Testament ideas. At this point in the story, the way the Hebrew uses the idea of spirit, you wouldn't even capitalize the S. It simply means the empowerment of God came upon Saul, and he became a changed man. But again, don't think salvationally or something like that. We're simply taking a very average guy out looking for donkeys, and he is now kind of like the judges in the book previous. He's a changed man, kind of like a Samson, Jephthah, Gideon, and he is going to win the day for Israel. In fact, in 10:19, as Samuel then anoints Saul again publicly, so he anoints him twice, once privately to Saul's surprise, and then again publicly in front of the people at Mizpah. He says in 10:19, and he reviews the story that goes back to chapter 8. He says to the people, he says, "Now you have rejected Yahweh." Just remember that. The reason I'm doing this, the reason God in fact wants me to empower this man or anoint him, is because you have rejected Yahweh. So here's your man. Here's what you're getting for having rejected me, God is saying. And then the people shout, "Long live the king."